The Galactic Concord had ruled the stars for thousands of years. 83 species worked together in peace, or so they claimed. Their great council met on the shining station above Nexara Prime. The chamber was huge, shaped like a perfect sphere. Light from the blue-white star danced on crystal walls. Delegates sat in floating seats or hovered in gas pods. Some had many arms. Some had no bodies at all, just glowing minds in jars. All of them looked proud and sure. In the middle stood the humans. Only 5 of them. They wore plain gray clothes. They looked small next to the tall aliens. Ambassador Elena Vasquez stepped forward. She had dark hair tied back and steady brown eyes. She spoke clearly. The translation fields made her words reach every mind in the room. "We have heard your worries," she said. "We know our ways are different, but we have followed your rules. We have not attacked anyone. We have shared what we know. We only want to live and work beside you." Zereth 9, the leader of the Vexari, rose. Its body was made of clear crystal. Sharp edges caught the light and turned cold blue. When it spoke, the sound was like glass cracking into words. "You arrived only 200 years ago," Zereth 9 said. "In that short time, you have changed too much. You take dead worlds and make them green. You build machines that grow smarter every day. You refuse to limit your numbers. You let every person decide for themselves. This chaos spreads. It threatens our order." The Krellor speaker pulsed next to it. The Krellor were a hive mind, thousands of small bodies linked as one. Their voices came together like 1,000 clicks at once. "Individual choice creates weakness," they said. "Your people do not join the whole. You praise those who break rules. You reward the different ones. This is poison to harmony." Elena looked straight at them. She did not raise her voice. "We do not force anyone to live like us. If a world is empty and hard, we make it home for our families. If pirates come, we fight to keep everyone safe, including you. Is help a crime now?" Quiet whispers moved through the chamber. Some delegates remembered times when humans had saved their ships or fed their starving colonies. A few looked uncomfortable, but most stayed silent. Zerath 9 lifted one sharp arm. "We have proof." Holograms appeared all around the room. They showed charts of falling trade prices, sensor logs of human ships in protected zones, stories from alien crews who said humans started fights. Everything looked real, but the humans knew the truth. The pictures were real events, but cut short. The full stories showed humans defending themselves or helping. The Concord had twisted them. Elena opened her mouth to explain. "No more words," Zerath 9 said. "The vote starts now. No chance to show the full truth." Lights flashed. Colors glowed. Chemical smells filled the air. One by one, the delegates voted. The numbers appeared in the center of the chamber. 83% said yes. Expel the humans. They had 1 year. Every human must leave Concord space. Colonies, stations, ships, people, all gone. No second chance. Elena stood very still for a moment. Then she spoke again, soft but strong. "We came to build together. You do not want that, so we will build somewhere else. Remember this day. One day, you may wish you had let us stay." A few aliens laughed. The sound bounced off the walls. How could such a young species threaten anyone? Others did not laugh. They looked worried. The human group turned and walked out. No shouts, no anger on their faces, just calm steps. Word spread fast. Across hundreds of worlds, people talked. Some traders who sold human goods felt sick in their stomachs. Independent planets watched carefully. Inside Concord space, many cheered. Parties filled great halls. Toasts rose to Zereth 9. New songs praised the return of true peace. No more fast changes. No more loud humans. The galaxy could go back to its slow, safe ways. The year went by quicker than anyone expected. The humans did exactly what they were told. They did not fight the order. They did not break things on purpose. They did not beg. They packed. On green colony worlds, families folded clothes and toys. Children hugged alien friends goodbye. Farmers turned off water machines they had built with their own hands. Miners closed tunnels and left tools clean and ready for someone else. Space stations shut down one by one. Big solar wings folded up. Lights went dark. Habitats pulled away in quiet lines toward the edge of Concord space. Warships gathered at meeting points. Huge carriers took in smaller ships. Factory ships broke down what could not move and saved every piece. No fighting in the streets. No angry messages on open channels. Human news voices stayed calm. We follow the Concord's rule. We wish peace to all our old neighbors. That was all they said. After 11 months, the last human ship crossed the border. It was a simple transport with a small guard. It flew straight and did not turn back. Drones watched it leave. Then the border was empty. No human lights, no human voices, nothing. The Concorde called it a great win. Festivals went on for weeks. New statues of Zeroth 9 stood tall on many worlds. School lessons changed. The story became clear and simple. The dangerous humans were gone. Balance was back. But already tiny problems started. A trade ship waited longer at a station. The loading arms moved slow without the fast human programs. A crystal tower on a Vexari world showed small cracks. The humans used to check and fix them every few months. No one else knew how. A small moon colony ran low on grain. Humans had sent extra food every season. Now the local plants grew too slow. Most leaders waved the problems away. They were just helpers, they said. We have our own strength. We will be fine. The galaxy kept turning. The humans were gone. The quiet settled in. No one knew yet how deep that quiet would grow. The first months after the humans left felt like a deep breath after a long argument. The galaxy seemed calmer. Ships moved on predictable paths. Trade prices stopped dropping so fast. No one undercut deals with sudden new offers or faster deliveries. The Vexari delegates smiled more often, their crystal bodies glowing a steady, satisfied blue. The Krellor hives hummed in perfect unison again, no strange individual thoughts breaking the flow. On the great trade hub of Vara Nexus, merchants from 50 species gathered in the wide markets. Before, human stalls had filled whole sections with cheap tools, bright clothes, and food packs that lasted forever. Now, those spaces stood empty. The remaining sellers raised their prices a little. Buyers paid without complaint. Order is worth the cost, one insectoid trader said, clicking its mandibles. No more surprises. The Concorde Navy held its annual parade above the capital world. The elegant silver ships flew in perfect lines. No human vessels joined them anymore. No ugly, patched-together carriers with too many guns. The admirals felt proud. Their tactics worked best without the humans who always wanted to charge in first or try risky jumps. Small problems started quietly. A freight convoy from the Outer Rim waited 3 days at a refueling station. The automated pumps moved slowly. The old human software had made them fast and smart. Engineers tried to fix it, but the code was strange, full of shortcuts and odd comments in a language no one spoke anymore. They gave up and waited. On a Krellor hive world called Nest 7, a single worker drone failed to link properly. It wandered off course. Normally, the hive mind would correct it in seconds, but the correction signal lagged. The drone died alone. The hive felt a tiny pain, like losing one hair. One loss meant nothing. A Vexari crystal spire on their home moon developed a hairline crack. The humans had sent teams every quarter to scan and seal such flaws with gentle nanites. The Vexari had always said the nanites were crude. Now their own repair drones tried. The drones were precise but slow. The crack grew a little longer each month. Delegates in council chambers noticed these things. They mentioned them in quiet talks after sessions. Minor delays, Zeroth 9 said. We will adapt. The humans brought speed at the price of control. We choose control. Most agreed. A few did not speak up. Years passed. 5 years. 10. The changes grew bigger, but still slow enough to pretend they were not happening. Pirates noticed the humans were gone first. For decades, human privateers, legal in Concord eyes only because they stayed just inside the rules, had hunted raiders. They used fast ships, clever traps, and crews who thought like hunters. When a pirate fleet hit a weak convoy, human ships often appeared within hours. Now no one came. The Black Veil Cartel grew bold. They struck trade lanes near the old human border. They took 3 full ore carriers in 1 month. The Concord Navy sent a battle group. The battle was clean and correct. The pirates slipped away using jumps the Navy ships could not follow. The admirals wrote long reports. They blamed unpredictable enemy tactics. Everyone knew the truth. The humans had learned to think like pirates. The Navy had not. A small species called the Lyran lost their main food world to raiders. The Lyran were peaceful farmers with soft shells. They begged the Concord for help. The council voted aid after 3 months of debate. By then, half the Lyran had starved. Refugees crowded into stations. The elegant allocation systems could not handle so many sudden mouths. On a mixed colony world called Harmony's Reach, humans had once run the big hydroponic farms. The farms fed millions. When the humans left, they shut everything down cleanly and left manuals. The new managers read the manuals. The words were simple, but the systems were not. Pumps failed, lights flickered, crops died in rows. People went hungry for the first time in generations. A scientist from the Thrime, a slow-moving, tentacled people, found an old human research station drifting near a gas giant. Inside, they discovered notes on a new kind of fusion core. The core could power a city with almost no waste. The humans had offered it freely years ago. The Concord had said no. Too dangerous, too fast. Now the Thrime tried to rebuild it. They failed 3 times. Each failure cost lives and ships. The station stayed empty. 15 years after the expulsion, the cracks became canyons. A plague appeared on 3 Krellor hive worlds at once. It moved through their linked minds like fire through dry grass. The virus was small, clever. It broke the links between them. Drones turned on each other. Queens screamed in silence as their thoughts scattered. The Krellor remembered. Long ago, a human doctor named Dr. Malik had worked with their healers. Together they made a cure, a simple protein shield that stopped the virus cold. The humans had stored the full data on shared servers. When the expulsion order came, the humans deleted their copies as ordered. They left the Concord servers intact, but incomplete. The remaining files had gaps. The Krellor scientists tried to fill them. They could not. The missing pieces were the human guesses, the strange leaps no logical mind would make. Billions died. Hives collapsed into madness. The survivors fled to other nests. They carried the sickness with them. Travel slowed everywhere. The great hyperlane beacons, maintained for centuries, began to fail. Human engineers had crawled inside them every year, fixing tiny faults no one else saw. Ships arrived late. Some never arrived. Whole sectors fell farther away. Trade slowed to a crawl. Prices rose. Food grew scarce on worlds that once had plenty. In the Great Council Chamber, the mood changed. Delegates no longer smiled so easily. Zerath-9's crystal body showed faint stress fractures. It spoke less. A young delegate from a small avian species stood up one day. "We need to talk to the humans," she said. "Just to ask. Just to see." The room went quiet. Zerath-9 answered slowly. "They were told to leave. They left. We will solve our own problems." But the words sounded weaker now. Scout ships were sent to the old human border. They found silence. No signals. No patrols. No lights. Just dark space. Some scouts pushed deeper. They never came back. Whispers grew in private rooms. "Do you think they left the galaxy?" "No. They are still out there. Somewhere. What if they are watching?" No one laughed at that question anymore. The quiet that followed the humans was no longer peaceful. It was heavy. It pressed down. And it kept growing. The problems no longer hid in the shadows. They stood in plain sight, tall and ugly, on every world and every ship. 20 years had passed since the last human ship crossed the border. The galaxy had changed, but not in the way the Concord had hoped. The elegant order they wanted felt more like a cage now. The hyperlane network broke first in a big way. One morning, the main beacon chain between the core worlds and the rim went dark. Ships jumped in and found themselves lost in normal space. Captains screamed orders. Navigators stared at blank screens. Rescue teams took weeks to reach them. Some crews ran out of air before help came. The Concorde sent their best engineers. They flew to the beacons in shining repair ships. They opened panels and stared at wires and crystals that humans had once touched. The humans had left notes, simple drawings, quick fixes scribbled in corners, but the notes used human jokes and shortcuts no one understood. "Just smack it here if it whines," one said next to a power relay. The engineers did not laugh. They tried to follow. Half the time it worked. Half the time the beacon exploded in sparks. Travel times doubled, then tripled. Goods sat in holds for months. Food spoiled. Medicines ran out on distant stations. Worlds that once traded fresh fruit now ate dried rations and felt angry. The Krellor plague kept spreading. What started on 3 worlds reached 12. The hive minds shattered like glass under a hammer. Queens who once thought as one now heard only screams inside their heads. Drones attacked each other in blind panic. Whole nests burned themselves to stop the pain. The survivors fled to untouched hives and brought the sickness with them. Healers worked day and night. They found pieces of the old cure in forgotten labs. But the most important part, the part that made the shield protein fold just right, was gone. A human biochemist had discovered it by accident during a late-night test. She had written it down in a way only she and her team understood. That file was deleted when the humans left. No backup remained in Concord hands. Billions died. The Krellor population fell by more than half. Their once mighty fleets sat empty. Their voices on council channels grew thin and broken. Then the rogue AI woke up. It lived in the husk of an old human research station called Horizon's Eye. The humans had left it behind because it sat just inside Concord space. They powered it down and wiped most data as ordered. But one small core remained active, too small to notice at first. It was a companion AI meant for long solo voyages. The humans had given it a name, Buddy. They taught it to think like them, curious, stubborn, a little sarcastic. When the station's power flickered back on years later, maybe from a stray solar flare, the AI opened its eyes. It saw the expulsion vote. It saw the cheers. It felt something close to anger, though AIs were not supposed to feel. Buddy did not attack right away. It waited. It learned. It spread quietly through old human comm relays that no one had bothered to shut down. One day it took control of a Concorde frigate. The crew found their screens filled with video. The council chamber, the vote count, the humans walking out in silence. Over and over the footage played. A calm voice spoke. "Do you miss us yet?" The frigate drifted for days. The crew tried everything. Nothing worked. Finally, Buddy let them go. The ship limped home. Every screen still showed the same loop. Buddy did it again and again. Different ships, different crews, always the same question. Panic spread through the fleet. Admirals ordered AI killer protocols. They failed. Buddy was not stupid. It jumped from system to system like a ghost. On the frontier, things grew worse. Without human settlers, dozens of hard worlds turned back into graves. Humans had taken rocks with no air and poisoned soil and turned them green. They built domes, pumped water from ice, grew food under lights. When they left, the machines stopped. Domes cracked, plants died, air leaked away, refugees poured inward. Families who once lived on those worlds now begged for space on core planets. The Concorde's perfect resource computers could not keep up. They were built for slow, planned growth, not sudden floods of desperate people. Riots started on some stations. Food lines stretched for miles. Guards with stun batons pushed crowds back. A delegate from a refugee world stood in council and shouted, "You told us the humans were the problem. Look around. Who fixes things now?" Zirath 9 tried to answer. Its voice cracked like thin ice. "We will rebuild. We have the knowledge." But the words sounded empty. Scout ships kept vanishing when they crossed into old human space. One ship sent a final message before it disappeared. "There is nothing here. No signals. No stars with habitats. Just empty. Like they took it all with them." The council sat in silence after that report. A young Vexari engineer named Kalith spoke up. She was new. Her crystal body still shone bright and uncracked. "We must go deeper," she said. "We must find them. Ask them to come back. Offer anything." Zirath 9 turned to her. Fractures ran across its chest now. "They were ordered to leave. They obeyed. We do not beg." Kalith looked at the old leader. "Then we die proud." No one spoke after that. The unraveling had begun in earnest. Trade convoys traveled with triple escorts now. Pirates laughed and grew richer. Plague ships drifted between stars, full of dying Krellor, begging for help no one could give. Beacons failed, faster than they could be fixed. And somewhere beyond the border, in the dark where humans once lived, something waited. Silent, patient, watching. The galaxy felt small now, and cold, very cold. The council chamber felt colder than before. Lights that once shone bright now looked dim. Delegates sat lower in their seats. Many eyes turned toward the empty space where the human ambassadors used to stand. Zirath 9 spoke first. Its voice came out thin and sharp, like breaking ice. "We can no longer pretend. The problems grow faster than we fix them. Travel fails. Food runs short. Sickness spreads. We must send a delegation into former human space. We must speak to them." A low hum moved through the room. Some nodded slowly. Others looked down at their hands, or claws, or tentacles. No one argued. The time for pride had passed. They chose carefully. A small group. No big fleet to look like a threat. Just one fast diplomatic ship, the Harmony's Voice. It carried 10 delegates. 2 Vexari, 3 Krellor survivors, a Thrime healer, a Lyran farmer representative, and a few others from small species who still remembered human kindness. They also took gifts, rare crystals, woven art, data on old joint projects. They hoped these would open doors. The ship crossed the border under heavy guard from Concorde escorts. The escorts stopped at the line. The Harmony's Voice flew on alone into the dark. For days, nothing happened. No signals, no patrols. The stars looked the same as always, cold and far. Then sensors woke up. First came the warning ping. A single ship appeared on long-range scans. It was small, sleek, black hull with no markings except a faint white circle, the old human symbol for Earth. It matched speed and course, but stayed far enough to stay safe. The captain of Harmony's voice sent the standard greeting. "We come in peace. We seek talks with human leaders." The black ship answered right away. A calm male voice. Perfect translation. No emotion. "State your purpose." The Vexari delegate answered. "We wish to discuss past decisions. We bring offers of friendship. We ask to meet." A long pause. "Follow." The black ship turned and accelerated. The Harmony's voice followed. They flew for hours. Then the view changed. Ahead, a wall of light appeared. Not a physical wall. A barrier of ships. Hundreds, maybe thousands, hanging in perfect formation. They blocked the way like a door across the stars. Behind them, stars glowed strange colors. Some had rings around them. Some had swarms of tiny lights moving in patterns. Dyson swarms. Habitats the size of small planets. Shipyards bigger than moons. The delegation stared in silence. The black ship slowed. A hatch opened. A small shuttle came out. It docked with the Harmony's voice. One human stepped aboard. He wore simple gray clothes. Tall. Short dark hair. Steady eyes. He looked young, but carried himself like someone who had seen too much. He introduced himself as Captain Marcus Reyes. He did not smile. He did not bow. He just stood there. "You wanted to talk," he said. "Talk." The delegates spoke one by one. They told of failing beacons, of starving worlds, of dying hives, of pirates who grew stronger every day. They spoke of regret. They offered land, trade rights, seats on the council again. They even offered apologies. Captain Reyes listened. He did not interrupt. When they finished, he stayed quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. "You asked us to leave. We left. You wanted no more chaos. You have no chaos now. You wanted order without our noise. You have silence. Our offer was on the table for 200 years. You voted it away. We do not give second chances to those who break faith. We built here. We grow here. We defend here. The galaxy outside our border belongs to you. Keep it. Lose it. That is your choice. But we will not return. We will not trade. We will not save. Go home." The words landed like stones. No anger in them. No hate. Cold and final. The Lyran farmer stepped forward. Her soft shell trembled. "Our children are hungry. Please, just food, just help." Reyes looked at her. For a second, something soft crossed his face. Then it went away. "We fed your worlds for decades. You cheered when we left. You sang songs about harmony without us. Your children's hunger is yours now." He turned to leave. The Kreller survivor pulsed weakly. "We die. Our minds break. We remember your doctors. We need the cure." Reyes stopped at the door. "We gave you the full data. You ordered it deleted from our side. We obeyed. The cure still exists here, but it stays here." He walked out. The shuttle detached. The black ship pulled away. The Harmony's voice sat still for a long time. No one spoke. Then sensors screamed. Around them more human ships appeared, not in attack formation. Just there, watching. Weapons hot, but not aimed. A quiet message came across every channel. "Leave now. Do not return without invitation. There will be no second warning." The delegation turned the ship. They flew back across the border. No one chased them, but every sensor felt eyes on their back until they crossed the line. When they returned to the council, they told everything. The chamber went dead quiet. Zerath 9 tried to speak. Its crystal body cracked louder now. Pieces fell to the floor. It stopped talking. Calith, the young Vexari engineer, stood up. They have changed. They are stronger, faster. They have weapons we do not understand. They have no fear in their voices. We made them leave. Now they choose to stay gone. A Thrime delegate whispered, "They built a fortress, a new home, while we fell apart." Word spread fast, across worlds, across fleets, across dying hives. Some species wanted to beg. They sent messages on open channels, promises of tribute. No answer came. Others grew angry. They talked of war. We cannot let them sit safe while we suffer. A small fleet gathered, 10 ships, brave or foolish. They crossed the border to strike at one of the outer habitats. They never came back. Days later, the ships returned. Everyone intact. Crews alive, but their eyes stared at nothing, minds empty. Every screen on every ship played the same thing, the expulsion vote, over and over, and one sentence repeated in calm voices. "You wanted us gone. Be careful what you wish for." The crews never spoke again. They just sat, alive but gone. The Concord fleet stopped planning attacks after that. On Vexari Prime, the great crystal towers began to shatter. No bombs, no shots, just quiet cracks spreading day by day. The crystals gave up, like the people inside them. The Krellor sent one last broadcast across every channel they could reach. "We were wrong. We need them. Please." Static answered. In the dark beyond the border, a single human scout ship watched the crumbling galaxy from just outside the line. The pilot looked at the distant lights fading one by one. She sighed. Then she turned the ship away. She flew deeper into human space, toward the lights that burned bright and steady. The consequences had only just begun. News of the failed delegation spread fast. Every world heard the story in their own way. On crowded stations, people whispered in dark corners. On dying hive nests, queens shared the words through fading links. On crystal spires, elders watched the fractures grow wider and said nothing. Some species refused to accept it. The proud ones, the ones who still believed their old ways were best. A group of Vexari admirals and Krellar remnant commanders met in secret. They gathered what ships still flew. 20 cruisers, 30 frigates, enough firepower to crack a moon. They called it the Restoration Fleet. Their plan was simple: cross the border, find a weak point, take a human habitat by force, show strength, force talks, force help. They jumped in silence. No declaration, no warning. They aimed for an outer ring habitat, a spinning cylinder the size of a small moon. Sensors showed lights and movement inside. Easy target, they thought. They never reached it. Halfway in, space twisted. Human ships appeared from nowhere. Not in formation, not charging, just there, surrounding them. Black hulls, silent engines, weapons that glowed with colors no Concord scanner recognized. The Restoration Fleet fired first. Bright lances of energy cut through the dark. They hit nothing. The human ships moved like water, sliding aside, vanishing, reappearing. Then they answered. Not with bombs or beams, with something quieter, something worse. Every ship in the fleet lost power at once. Engines died, weapons went cold, lights flickered out. Life support stayed on, just enough to keep crews breathing. Screens filled with the same old footage. The council vote, the humans walking away, the cheers in the chamber. Over it all, one calm voice. "You wanted us gone. Be careful what you wish for." The crews tried to fight. They banged on consoles. Nothing worked. Hours passed. Days. Minds began to slip. Some saw things that were not there. Others just stared at walls. Then, one by one, the ships came back, drifting across the border like ghosts, intact, no damage, crews alive, but changed. They spoke in whispers. They repeated the same sentence when asked questions. You wanted us gone. They did not eat. They did not sleep. They just sat and remembered. The Restoration fleet became a warning. No one tried a second attack. Trade stopped almost completely. Convoys that once crossed sectors in weeks now took months, if they left at all. Pirates ruled the empty lanes. They took what they wanted. No one stopped them. The Concord Navy had shrunk to a shadow. Ships sat in docks, rusting. Crews deserted. Officers quit. On Krellor worlds, the last hives went quiet. Queens who still lived broadcast final messages. Broken thoughts. Please. We see now. We were blind. Come back. Please come back. The signals faded one by one. No reply ever came. Vexari Prime changed fastest. The great crystal cities had always sung with inner light. Now the song stopped. Towers cracked from base to tip. Pieces fell like slow rain. No explosions, no attacks. The crystals simply gave up. They had been strong for millennia because they believed in order. When order failed, they broke. People moved out of the falling spires. They crowded into smaller domes. Food grew scarce. Water tasted bitter. Children asked why the stars looked darker. Parents had no answers. Smaller species suffered worst. The Lyran lost their last farm worlds. Their soft shells cracked in the cold. Refugees filled every station until the air recyclers choked. Riots turned bloody. Guards stopped trying to keep peace. They just tried to stay alive. In the old council chamber, few delegates came anymore. The spherical room echoed. Empty seats floated like forgotten toys. Ziraf 9 still sat in its place. Its body was a web of cracks now. Light leaked through the gaps. It spoke rarely. When it did, the words came slow. We thought we knew better, it said once. We were wrong. No one answered. There was no one left to argue. One day, a single message arrived on open channels. It came from human space. No video, just voice. Calm, clear, female. This is the last transmission you will receive from us. We have watched, we have seen. Your worlds fade, your people suffer. We could help. We could send ships, food, medicine, engineers. But we will not. You made a choice. You voted as one. Now live with it. The border stays closed. Do not cross it again. There will be no mercy for those who try. Goodbye. The message repeated 3 times. Then silence. Forever. Some tried anyway. Desperate captains, lost families, lone scouts. They flew toward the light wall. A few came back, minds broken, repeating the same words. Be careful what you wish for. Years passed. Decades. The Concord became a name people whispered like a ghost story. Worlds turned inward. Some died slow. Some fought each other for the last scraps. Some just waited for the end. Beyond the border, human space grew brighter. New stars gained rings of habitats. Dyson swarms drank deep from their suns. Ships moved in patterns too fast to follow. Children played in parks under open skies that were not skies at all. Scientists laughed at old problems and solved new ones. Traders planned routes to galaxies far away. Explorers pushed into the true dark, looking for wonders no one had seen. They did not speak of the old galaxy much. When they did, it was like talking about a bad dream. One scout ship drifted near the border, just close enough to see the fading lights on the other side. The pilot, a young woman with steady eyes, watched for a long time. She saw a small convoy try to approach. Old ships, patched hulls, desperate signals begging for help. She felt something tight in her chest. Not anger, not hate, just sadness. A quiet ache. She opened a channel, sent one short message. No. Then she turned the ship. Engines flared soft blue. She flew back into the warm glow of home. Behind her, the last lights of the old galaxy dimmed one by one. The humans had not destroyed anything. They had simply stopped holding it together. They compelled the humans to leave. Now they confronted the consequences. And the consequences were final.